They can become a retinal cell, a skin cell. They can transform into anything. So what happens is when you break your fast, you get a surge of stem cells coming out of your bone marrow. Some of them become immunocytes. That is why we know that fasting also boosts your immunity. People who fast get less infections, get less sore throats and coughs and colds and the viruses that are going around. The immunity is better. The stem cells are not, I'm particularly interested in the stem cells because of a thing called the progenitor cells, endothelial progenitor cells. Progenitor cells are, you see, you're always hurting your blood vessels, the lining of the blood vessels, and the lining of your blood vessels have to be constantly repaired, and they are repaired by the progenitor cells. When you do intermittent fasting and time-restricted feeding, you will produce more, and this has been shown in numerous studies, more progenitor cells. And these progenitor cells go and repair your blood vessels. So why am I interested in this? Because I'm a vascular doctor. I want my blood vessels to constantly be repairing themselves from the damage that we do in day-to-day life. So stem cell mobilization, brain-derived neurotropic factor, growth hormone. You make more growth hormone in fasting. So when should you exercise when you're fasting? Peak of your fast. So if I'm going to break my fast at 6 p.m., I tell patients to go out to the gym at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I say, but doc, how can I do that? You will find that you will put on more muscle and you will retain more muscle as well because you have higher growth hormone. The fastest way and the best way to actually increase your growth hormone production is to do intermittent fasting.
When I sat with Dr. Stacey Sims, who does a lot of work on women's physiology and women's performance, one of the things she said to me is that if a woman in particular tries to do a workout fasted, the body will break down the muscle in a woman because she said a woman's body is much more, the hypothalamus is much more sensitive to changes in a woman's glucose levels because it's trying to defend against, pregnancy and, all these kinds of things. So it shuts down the menstrual cycle if there's not enough glucose in the blood. And so she said for women in particular, you do want to eat something before you work out or your body will take from the muscle and the body's very sensitive. It won't want to help you build muscle if there's not enough glucose energy in the body. She said for men, it's slightly different because we're a little bit more robust and we were meant to hunt. So if we were fasted, our body is, designed to kind of keep up its normal processes to help us complete a hunt per se. So I guess I throw this question out to you about women exercise and fasting.
Yeah, I think that's a great observation. So again, what kind of exercise is the woman doing? You see? Now, there's two kinds of basic exercises. One is aerobic activity, and one is resistance exercises. And you can also throw into that high-intensity interval training. So when it comes to the training that I'm talking about in a fasting state, I like resistance training. So in resistance training, that glucose issue is not going to become a problem. Now, if you're going to put that female patient on a treadmill and make her run for a long period of time, let's say you're going to make her run for 40 minutes on the treadmill, I think that yes, you're absolutely right. You are going to deplete her glucose and you may cause some problems and then the muscle will start breaking down. But I do believe from all the experience that I've had with my patients that when I tell them to do HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, all the women do just as well as the men. Because all you're doing is you're intensely working the muscles and you're doing some resistance exercise and then you're totally resting as well. And I see fantastic results with that.
In terms of ketosis, do you cycle in and out of a ketogenic diet? And just for anyone that doesn't know, a ketogenic diet is a diet that's very, very low in carbohydrates, so less than 50 grams of carbohydrates a day typically. Do you cycle in and out of that diet?
Yes. Yes, you have to. Because I don't want them to stay in a ketogenic state all the time. So I do. I tell them, look, what is your goal here? What is your goal? If your goal is that, okay, I need to lose 70 pounds, then you're going to do this till you get to your goal. Once you get to your goal, then you're going to go back to time-restricted feeding, which means 18-6. So you'll still make some ketones. And then intermittently, you can still do a 36-hour fast. That means normal, healthy people, you and me, we should still be doing one 36-hour fast at least once a month. So we'll go to that. Fasting must still become part of your program, but you don't need to stay in ketogenesis all the time. Remember also that when you are in ketogenesis, you are also in autophagy. How much autophagy can you do? That means you're recycling all your all your organelles inside your cells.
What does that mean in simple terms for someone that doesn't know the term autophagy?
Okay, so bottom line is the cell senses that there is no new parts coming in here. So it takes the redundant organelles inside the cells and breaks them down, pitches them up into these little kits and exports them out of the cells. So these cells, all your cells in the body, now are functioning at a much more efficient level. So mitochondria also have autophagy. So you're getting new mitochondria, you're repairing your mitochondria. And it's all about mitochondria, right? Your energy, mitochondria are those organelles inside each cell. And we just think of them as only an energy source, that, my mitochondria, they make ATP. That's not the whole story. Yes, they produce ATP, but they also produce this thing called reactive oxygen species, and thereby they influence the metabolism of your cell as well. They send signals. They send signals to your chromosomes, so that you start producing new proteins, you start producing new molecules. So your mitochondria are very important.